Cadet Marcus Webb had heard the stories about Vreth combat instructors, but nothing prepared him for the reality of training under one. The towering alien stood nearly 8 feet tall, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh lights of the training deck. Her 4 arms moved with unsettling precision as she demonstrated the disarming technique for the 3rd time. "Your species relies too heavily on brute force," Vreth Officer Kaldar clicked, her translator rendering the sounds into clipped standard. "You must learn finesse, or you will die in actual combat." Marcus nodded, wiping sweat from his forehead. Around him, other cadets from various coalition worlds watched nervously. This was week 3 of the interspecies military exchange program, and already half the human contingent had washed out. Not from failure, but from fear. Again, Kaldar commanded, gesturing with her upper right arm. "Attack as if you mean to kill me." Marcus lunged forward, following the prescribed pattern. He'd trained for years at the academy, earned top marks in hand-to-hand combat. But Kaldar moved like liquid shadow. Her lower arms caught his wrist mid-strike while her upper limbs swept his legs. He felt himself rotating through the air, tried to break his fall the way he'd been taught. Then came the snap. The sound echoed across the training deck, followed immediately by white-hot agony that shot up his arm. Marcus hit the mat hard, his right forearm bent at an impossible angle. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think beyond the blinding pain that consumed his entire existence. Kaldar loomed over him instantly, her compound eyes reflecting his contorted face 1,000 times. "Don't move, Cadet Webb." The other students rushed forward, but the alien instructor raised one arm, halting them. With surprising gentleness, she lifted Marcus with her lower arms while her upper limbs worked a device from her belt. She pressed it against his neck, and suddenly the pain receded to a distant throb. "You tensed at the last moment," she explained, carrying him toward the exit with inhuman speed. "Tried to catch yourself with a locked elbow. I've seen this injury 100 times." Marcus wanted to argue, to point out that she'd broken his arm, but the stimulant she'd administered made his thoughts fuzzy. The corridors of the Coalition training station blurred past. Other cadets and instructors stopped to stare at the bizarre sight, a massive Vreth carrying a broken human like a child. They reached the medical bay in under 3 minutes. The facility was a testament to Coalition cooperation, technology from a dozen species working in harmony. Kaldar deposited Marcus directly into a cylindrical medical pod, its transparent surface already sliding shut. "Wait," Marcus managed, his good hand pressing against the interior. "I don't." "The pod will heal you completely in 47 minutes, Kaldar interrupted, her translator conveying something that might have been reassurance. "When you emerge, your bone will be stronger than before. Your muscles will remember the correct fall technique at a cellular level." The pod filled with viscous blue gel that smelled faintly of ozone. Marcus felt his panic rising as the substance covered his nose and mouth, but then he was breathing it, somehow, his lungs accepting the foreign medium. The pain in his arm transformed into a strange tingling sensation. Through the translucent pod wall, he watched Kaldar interface with the medical console, her clawed fingers dancing across holographic displays. Other medical staff, a squat Torgathy with 6 tentacles and a floating ethereal that resembled living mist, gathered around, checking readings. "The human will recover," the ethereal asked in its singing voice. "Of course," Kaldar replied. "They are more resilient than they appear. That's why I chose this training method." Marcus's eyes widened. She'd chosen to break his arm. As if sensing his shock, Kaldar moved closer to the pod, her alien features impossible to read but her posture somehow conveying satisfaction. "When you return to training, Cadet Webb, you will understand. Sometimes the body learns what the mind cannot accept. You will fall correctly now, or you will die when it matters." The gel grew warmer, and Marcus felt consciousness slipping away. His last thought before the medical pod sedatives took hold was that maybe, just maybe, Kaldar was the best instructor he'd ever had. When he woke 47 minutes later, his arm was perfect, and he knew exactly how to fall.